Diablo Immortal might be one of the largest critical failures of 2022, but it isn't a scam. On the contrary, the core game is actually highly engaging and a lot of fun. Ni no Kuni Crossworlds, on the other hand, is an absolute abomination of a game. Oh my god, STIX, why do you have such a hate hard-on for this game? And honestly, I don't. But Netmarble have proven repeatedly since the day this game launched that they care so little about this title, about their players, that they would rather abuse Google's terms of service to change the narrative surrounding its release, to design events that are targeted exclusively at crypto bros, and to try to cover up negative press. All of this as opposed to making a worthwhile long-term installment in an already critically acclaimed and beloved franchise. Quick shout out to our patrons over on Patreon. This allows you to directly support us if you're interested. Every patron will have their name appear at the beginning of every single YouTube video, and you'll be immortalized in the MMO genre forever. Now, don't get me wrong, Ni no Kuni Crossworlds is actually a beautiful game. From its stunning environments, its Ghibli-inspired character models, the fluidity of the movement and the combat, yet underneath the illusion of a game is a cesspool of drama, malpractice, and abuse. Within 24 hours of Crossworlds launching, players began to grow concerned by a clause in their terms of service that gave Netmarble the rights to terminate your account if you were inactive for a period of 6 months, losing any and all progress that you had accumulated over that time, including any money that you had invested into the game. This concern was warranted. Imagine spending hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in a game, and then choosing to leave for a year, waiting for new content to release before coming back, only to come back and well, no longer having a functional account. I did note at the time that this is a common clause that is found in many games' terms of service, but it is still highly disconcerting to find. The following day, Netmarble held an event exclusively for Discord members. This event wasn't available via Twitter, it wasn't available via Facebook, it was not available via their website, the official website for this game. You could only see it, you could only participate in it if you were a member of their Discord channel. The event requirements were as follows. You were required to download the game from either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, to play the game briefly until you can leave a review, to continue to do so, but the review left was required to be positive only, a positive star rating and a positive review, in their words, filled with excitement for Ni no Kuni Crossworlds in the market. After you have accomplished this, you were to take a screenshot as proof, and then proceed over to the Rainia's Notebook channel and post it for the team to review. After reaching a 10,000 minimum threshold, players would receive a variety of different rewards. Summon coupons, costume summon coupons, things your average free player definitely wouldn't want to miss out on. Now, I do want to note here, Google explicitly states that any type of manipulation of the placement of any app on the Google Play Store, as an example, the inflation of ratings or reviews by illegitimate means, including incentivized installs, is a direct violation of their terms of service. This should have been cause for immediate removal from the Play Store, but hey, money makes a lot of incredible things possible, right? Within hours of posting my video discussing the illegal event being held by Netmarble, the event, including the Discord channels, disappeared entirely from public view. Every instance of this event ceased to exist, almost like it was completely made up. Thankfully, we have evidence to the contrary. This was an incredibly suspect thing to do. There are hundreds of thousands of us that are now aware that you manipulated your ratings, and there are hundreds of thousands of us that are now aware that you tried your best to cover it up. Fast forward another day, Netmarble made headlines after they had initially revealed that crypto would be of minimal consequence within the game, but introduced Terite, the play-to-earn cryptocurrency, as an integral part of almost every facet of the game. Crafting, upgrading, familiar training, amongst others. What was of the largest concern to players at the time, however, was how a specific PvP gear set, which was available via RNG gacha pulls in other versions of the game, was available as a direct purchase in the global version, leading players to easily purchase some of the most powerful gear directly, creating a sizable discrepancy between players. Approximately a week and a half went by without much issue. Things were beginning to calm down, players were enjoying themselves in game, when out of nowhere players all around the world began to notice servers, which were always low to medium in terms of activity levels, were peaking. Queues of up to 800 to 1,000. On June 16th, began the bot incursion, a gargantuan influx of bots completely overwhelming Netmarble's servers. These queue times lasted anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half on average, as these bots would remain online permanently farming cryptocurrency, which left legitimate players unable to log in and play the game. Players saw bots everywhere, with names that can only be compared to what someone who fell asleep on their keyboard would come up with after faceplanting. Netmarble remained silent during the first day of this incursion. 2 days passed, and on June 18th, I happened across a brand new event being held in conjunction with Crossworlds. Events are promising. They provide players additional reasons to log in to play the game. Plus, I mean, they can be kind of fun. Not that Netmarble and this game really have a great track record with events. Their last event, if you recall, incentivized players engaging in illegal manipulation of Google's Play Store rankings, and admittedly, while this isn't technically as bad, it's actually kinda worse, but for a different reason. This event required players to link their crypto wallet to the game, meaning that if you hadn't set up your cryptocurrency account, you would be excluded entirely from the event. In essence, this event was targeted specifically at crypto bros as opposed to their larger community of players, showcasing exactly where their priorities lie. As of June 19th, the very next day, Netmarble confirmed that they were now actively aware of the ongoing bot incursion, with many players reporting they're seeing queue times of upwards of 3,000, which take on average 3 to 6 hours to sit through, and they had fixes in place to remedy this. Their plan? To take the North American servers offline, to kick the bots in hopes that they wouldn't just immediately log back in and continue botting, and then place limitations on new characters being created. You heard that right. Netmarble have disabled the ability for players to create new characters, at least as of June 20th. This means no new players within North America can play the game. This means that current existing players cannot make alternate characters, but I guess it also means no new bots can be created, so there's a positive to all the negative. The worst part of all of this is you can actually bypass the average queue that all of us free players are automatically put into by purchasing the Daily Adventurer Pass for $7.99. This puts you ahead of everyone else that cannot pay, which means that they are specifically catering to whales, and not even whales, they're catering to salmon. As a direct result of Netmarble's poor handling of the situation, all of the bots inhibiting players from logging into the game, the crypto crud and everything else going on in the game, Apple has begun to respond to and successfully refund players that issue it. This happens pretty rarely and only when Apple believes the culprit is severely at fault. This news began to spread all over social media, with players starting campaigns attempting to get players to issue refunds in an effort to get Netmarble's attention on the matter. This is yet to have any effect on Netmarble or the game, but I guess it's worth doing if you're no longer able to play the game due to current circumstances. Just remember that it does run a very high risk of losing your account permanently. Kuni Crossworlds is in an absolutely horrific state. Every week things spiral further and further out of control, and it is an embarrassment to not only the gaming genre, but also Studio Ghibli and the Ni no Kuni intellectual property. Games like this should not be allowed to prey on players, but until they're held accountable for their actions, they'll no doubt continue to do so. Now, if you're looking for some great alternatives to Crossworlds, I have a list of upcoming gacha games confirmed to be coming in 2022 right here, or a list of free MMOs that are just much better investments right over here.